Okay, I think we're live. I hope we're live. It says I got an issue up here, but I'm not sure. But hey, it looks like we got live on some of these streams. How exciting to be back with 2026. Hey, I've been unplugged now for about 8 weeks. Thank you guys for continuing to rock with me. Took a nice long pause with my family for the holiday and kicked my feet up and got, all that right. Wife's 50th birthday party's done downrange, so we are ready to go. And I'm ready to get back here on the microphone and talk to everybody and bring you guys some amazing guests who have some good information and some good techniques to pass to you. We don't do drama here. We do nothing but helpful things to everybody out here in our community. So, hey, appreciate everybody's support. Don't forget, continue to support the channel, mash like, subscribes, all those good things. I would really appreciate it. And we are going to move forward with tonight's guest. Over there, I got my buddy. That's my guy, Ernest Twigg, on the other side. I served with him on Marine Corps Recruit Depot San Diego before I retired. And I tell you, man, he's just one of the real ones. One of the guys, he just kind of gives it to you how it is. He's unapologetically himself, full of motivation, proud to be a Marine, proud to continue to serve the community. And I just think the world of him. And I think that he's going to have a lot of good things, to say tonight. He's going to have a lot of good things, techniques and things that he can pass on to you to help you hopefully improve things that you want to do in your life. Without further ado, welcome my brother, Ernest Twigg, retired Sergeant Major. Hoorah, brother.
Hoorah. Hey, Mark, thank you so much. First and foremost, what an honor to be here. Your invite really inspired me. I wasn't expecting it. And when I got it, it really touched me. And so I want to say thank you
You're
because
welcome.
you are a legend, whether you know it or not.
I didn't know that.
You know, so yeah, my career in a nutshell has been an amazing journey. I started with 3.6 as 0311. Uh,
Hoorah. Infantry for all the viewers, trigger
yeah, I
puller,
was a track
rifleman.
company. I was a track company grunt and got to witness that synergy firsthand, that friendship, that brotherhood
Yeah.
that actually literally forms between the trackers and the grunts. And then uh, transferred to 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines shortly after what you were able to accomplish in Nazaria with 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines. So your legacy echoed, and of course I didn't know you at the time, but of people that know
Sure.
of you. And when you talk about the real ones, I think that you need to look in the mirror, brother. You've been
Thank
there,
you.
done that, got the
Thank
same
you.
t-shirt, and
Thank
it's
you.
quite impressive.
Means a lot,
uh
man. Appreciate it.
yeah, absolutely. You're genuinely welcome. From there, transferred to drill instructor, senior drill instructor, chief drill instructor, and drill instructor at drill instructor school. Uh, Company gunny at 3rd Battalion, 2nd Marines, ops chief at the wing, then became a first sergeant, then transferred over to where you were at MCRD. And then with your help and your guidance, you kind of guided me, mentored me into sergeant major, and was finished out my career at 1st Battalion, 11th Marines. So you had a major impact on my growth and development. And something funny, Mark, when you sent the email over, we none of this is scripted. This is live. There's
Right.
nothing written down. And you said, "Hey, Ernest, we're going to, I'd love to have you on the show. We'll talk about motivational mindset." And right there, you blew my mind, brother,
Yeah.
because you see something in me, and a leadership trait, whether it's on the JJ did tie buckle or not, is observation, being able to see the best in your Marines and others. Well, you see into me, and you were like, "Hey, I want you to talk about motivational mindset." And when I got that email, I was like, wow, he really gets it. Because the last 10 years, I have been working extremely hard on evolving my leadership style into a motivational architect or a mindset architect better. You know, as you know, motivation is something like emotional sugar. It wears off very quick.
Oh, yeah.
But when it comes to mindset design, being able to see your thoughts, your perceptions, and know how to react and how you're reacting and designing your mindset to move ahead, that's something that's permanent, and that's something you could design, and it'll take you farther. It'll take you far, brother.
Yeah, no doubt. Thank you for all those kind words. I really appreciate it. You're probably embellishing a little bit more than you should about it. I'm teasing you. Um, but I guess what I would say is it's so easy to want to go hard for somebody who supports you, who has your back, who understands your vision, and is doing what they need to do to handle their business to make lifts to give you a little bit less to worry about when you have such a large purview. Like I I appreciate that so much. So it's like my honor to connect you, with Sergeant Major Rice and get you up there to 111 and finish out your career on a bright note. I had a hunch that you were just going to do your time as a sergeant major and roll out because just you have just a glow about you and you just carry yourself in a certain way that says that being a sergeant major was great and I loved having the opportunity to do it, but I have skills that I want to take elsewhere, and I respect that, man. I
Wow.
have so much respect for that.
You give me goosebumps, brother. That's what I'm talking about. Absolutely. You could tell I was kind of restrained because I knew my role. And just as you knew your role, you're a very humble individual. When you corrected me on the drill field, you pulled me to the side, and it's that old leadership principle, reprimand in private and praise in public. And you were very, very stoic and very, very professional, saying, "Hey, next time you set up the formation, you might want to put the guide over here," So
Yeah, yeah,
it was no big deal to you. It was what it was. Let's move on. And watching that, you really set an example because I'm a little bit emotional. A little. I could
yeah,
come off the top rope a little bit. So learning how to regulate that emotion, watching your example, seeing how you do that's just absolutely incredible. So my time with you was well spent. My time in 111 was an absolute joy. But to your point, by that point, I'll like I said, I'm not a commander. However, there were some skills that I were developing while advising commanders that I wanted to test and put to use. And since I've been able to leave the Marine Corps, I've been able to go into designing systems and training programs as a consultant and really put everything that I learned from TCOM and the drill field to use. And it's been having spectacular ROI. It's
yeah.
been fun.
Yeah, and that's kind of the main theme that I wanted to kind of discuss tonight was sort of your transition into what you're doing now. Lots of different things that we can do, and the one of the coolest parts about this whole thing that I've learned, on this 3.5 year podcast journey is that I've had guys on here that have opened up gyms. I've had those, that have gone, into government, those that have done, consulting, those that open up those businesses. So when you talk about a motivational mindset and being able, and the thing is like, I want these young cats or those that, a little bit behind us, and even those that are older that know that they can pivot and be confident in their skills like you are. Like, why were you so confident in your skills, and getting out and having no problem with separating yourself from the Marine Corps and going out there and doing what you needed to do? What was it about you and your mindset?
I appreciate that question. You're talking about mindset. So, what is mindset? What is it? Well, to me, and this is where I kind of delve into academia, which I do enjoy. It helps me prepare. Um, Identity is a piece of that, and that's me staying true to my authentic self. I'm not going to, like you said, I'm not going to change for anybody. I'm going to tell it how I see it. It might not be how it is, but it's how I see it, and that stems from my identity. There's also, self-regulation, the ability to go into a situation and it may hurt, it may sting your feelings, but saying, "Hey, what can I learn from that?" I think the drill field actually helped you and I both in that regards because when you're a new Nick, the new guy on the boys, you're going to get told how bad you suck, you know, and
Yeah.
that doesn't really do anything for you. So my whole take was, well, tell me how. Tell me how. So that way I could improve. I could become a better drill instructor,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
improve my mindset because that was an everyday thing. You get told how bad you're doing or whatever the case may be. Well, give me the specifics. I'm not running fast enough. I'm not making the solid correction on the thumb on the trousers, whatever it is. You know, Tell me those specifics, and that really helped improve the way that I think and the way that I accept criticism, and that's part of the mindset as well. So as I transitioned from the Marines, I had a solid foundation from what we had in the Marine Corps, period. TCOM specifically, drill instructor. Wow, the amount of friction that you're able to bust as that internal and external complexity, that and the confidence that you gain in yourself as a hat, absolutely incredible. And so as I was transitioning, I was just like, okay, I'm going to prepare a mindset that says you're ready. Be prepared to follow on learning, because you don't know anything about what you're getting ready to step into.
Yeah. No, that's a valid point. I think there's also an art to kind of not waiting until, the end, and, strategically and thoughtfully planning, your journey, academia. Think about things that you want to do outside the Marine Corps. And it's so hard to friggin' do when you love the Marine Corps so much and you think that that's all there is, but eventually your time's going to end. And if you don't at least shape that, your fall can you can fall flat in your face getting out. I've seen people have a hard time even getting jobs and just trying to find in their way, to the point where, like, Sergeant Major Ruiz today posted a video on social media talking about those that are dealing with things and they haven't appropriately dealt with it, unfortunately, taking their own life because they just can't deal with civilian world and they can't deal with the trauma that they experience on active duty. It's just such a painful thing, to talk about, but we have to talk about it. So things like this, these discussions that you and I have in these exchanges are really important to ensuring that, it's not just, putting a hand on somebody's shoulder. It's guiding them and trying to say, hey, there's other life, there's other things that you need to be thinking about besides just the day to day in the Marine Corps.
You mentioned a great point about trauma. So Marines, by nature of the job, you're going to experience some sort of trauma. And my take on trauma is a little different than other people's, and it's not showing off. It's not anything that I'm not beating my chest. It's that I've learned to create a mindset that deals with trauma a little differently because I'm able to see it. So metacognition, I highly recommend your listeners look up metacognition. It's a simple term. All it means is watching your thoughts, watching how you think. I'm stinking thinking. I'm in a mind trap. Neuroscience proves that neurons that fire together wire together. So inside your brain, if you experience trauma, it's very easy to fall into a mind trap where you continually think the same thoughts over and over. And so now you're living a life in misery. You're trapped there. The great part about a mindset, if you use design, and metacognition, you could become aware and say, wow, I'm really stuck on this trauma, on this sadness. Now that you can see it, you could pull yourself away from that and you could start filling your life with the things that make you happier and make you better. And you could start investing your time into those things and reformulate. What's great, Mark, neuroscientists have proven that even in our age, we're able to reform our brain through neuroplasticity, meaning that we could create a new form of thought inside of our frontal lobe where reason and logic exist, and we could get those neurons to fire and we could create a new mindset. But we have to be aware that we're thinking of it and we have to put in work. I'm no expert. I'm just telling the people how I deal with some of the harsh things that we go through as Marines and how I've been able to stay positive.
Yeah, there's so many of us out there that have been through just a lot of traumatic things. It doesn't even have to be military. You don't even know if 4 doors down from you that that there's a ex-wife sitting over there, in a home where they're poor, and she was abused, raped, being extreme. But there's all kinds of other things that exist. Like, nobody's journey is perfect, but it just seems like in the Marine Corps, in the military, it's very easy to lean and kind of use that stuff, as a crutch, to be stuck in that thing. When you're talking neurons, I call it rumination. and the rumination of poor, thoughts, and and those hopelessness, rumination of hopelessness is so painful. And I always say to people, like, I don't have all the answers. I don't. I'm just living proof of a guy who was born with a friggin' copper spoon at best in his mouth, a plastic spoon at best. I haven't had a good deal of much of anything.
MRE
But I'm
spoon.
here, fucking standing. I'm here talking to you. I got a smile on my face, and I'm doing the best that I absolutely can, and trying to put some of that rumination behind me and continue to move forward and not let that shit define me. Moving forward, trying, to make it better every day. And I think if I'm capable of it, you're capable of it. A lot of our friends who have been through worse shit than you and I have, they're out there dealing with it. So can anybody else.
Yeah, absolutely, 100. And that's what's so amazing about the Marine Corps is that the lives that individual leaders are going to touch and inspire and save. And, there's going to be some people fall into some really, really dark times. And young leaders, they're going to be there for them, whether they know it or not, whether that
Yeah.
individual ever comes up and gives them a phone call or ever tells them, hey, you saved my life. I was in a dark place and I was getting ready to do something. And just because you picked up the phone and you called me and you shot me an email, that's going to save a life. And I think that that's one of the best forms of therapy. Because I'll be honest, for me, it's difficult to talk to a stranger outside of the military
Yeah.
about some of the issues or some of the things that you and I have faced. It's challenging because there's a trust barrier. But whenever there's someone positive, someone who actually cares about you as a person, and not someone who wants to use you to use your name to get somewhere.
Yeah.
Like this conversation right now, we want to extract something and give it away because we know people are valuable. Every last person listening, if they could take something away from this, then great, because they're going to go out there and influence other individuals and set a positive experience.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, one of the things you hear a lot about is poo-pooing on, on the newer guys and stuff. And I'll tell you, if there's one thing that this generation and the leadership of this generation is doing a hell of a lot better than they were in 1993 when I was a young guy, it is setting a climate where it's okay, to have issues, to come forward and to talk about shit and to not have your best day and every day living a dream. Um, I really appreciate that because I do believe that coming off of 20 years of war and a whole lot of trauma that a lot of these, youngsters are dealing with, it's so important. Imagine if the culture and the climate was like, suck it up, we don't care, and at least there's some genuity behind it today compared to when I was a young Marine. So hey, bravo Zulu to all these out there that are still, carrying the torch, for me and Ernest, and breaking down those barriers, and actually, like Ernest said earlier, and actually not being a studio gangster about it, but being all about it and being genuine as you're out there doing leadership by walking around. That shit matters, man. It makes a huge difference in these young people's lives. So I appreciate you.
yeah, no, it's spectacular. Something, a tool that could help, that helped me is journaling, like journaling, writing. So, we're talking about mindset, and that begs the question, can we strengthen our mindset? And I say absolutely we can. And the ways that we do it is, I touched on it, one, through metacognition, being aware that we're in a mind trap. We're not making any progress. We're miserable. We have no hope. All the things that you were touching upon. And then putting some action together, hey, I do not want to be here any longer. I want to do something more positive. And then writing about it, finding time to reflect, because here's the truth. Writing is a forcing function, and not every day. Ernest R. Twigg and Mark R. Chabot did not get to where we're at overnight. There were days where we were whooped, and there were days where we were defeated and we had failed big time, but we were able to make progress. somewhere around I think 2005, I started journaling and writing down my thoughts from combat, writing down my thoughts on a daily basis. And what that did was that forced me to take a look at, okay, I didn't make progress today. Guess what? I have to write that in my journal.
Sure.
I made no progress today. And that's a
Yeah.
lot,
Oof.
right?
That's tough criticism on yourself,
But we have,
but it's honest. But it's honest.
and that's what's the beauty about journal. You could lie to everyone in the world, but you can't lie to yourself. And when you go back and you start reflecting and you start saying, okay, where was I at? How can I improve? What systems of thought can I use to propel me? It's all in there, and it's all honest, like to your point.
Yeah. Ernest, I wanted to ask you something. Right now, you're on the speaking engagement, right? So, like, you being a retired sergeant major and using LinkedIn as a platform, and having some network out there with some people of influence. You're going around now talking to the younger folks, either at like Citadel, Notre Dame, other campuses. What are you talking to them about, right? Because, like, for me, I'll be true, like, I've only had just a couple opportunities since I was retired, and sometimes I feel like I'm up there like a fish out of water. I'm like looking at all these young faces and everything. Like, I'm like, okay, what do I talk about? I'm talking about proficiency, warfight, right? Like, what are you talking to them about?
So that's a great question, because after the Notre Dame speech, a lot of them came up, man, you're a great motivational speaker, and I definitely value that compliment. I appreciate the fact that they were motivated, but there's something deeper and more profound that I'm trying to teach them, and that's those Marine Corps lessons learned in leadership. And so the prime ones are those leaders that actually touched our lives. I give those as examples. I call out Colonel Robert May over at the School of Infantry for his impact on my life. I talked about it then. I'll just touch on it briefly here. I was arrested at 13. I ran away from home at 16. I was a high school dropout, really a adolescent criminal,
Wow.
and
Yeah.
by the
Jesus.
grace, I met a Marine recruiter named Sergeant Charles Sweet, and Destiny brought me in the Marine Corps. And my time at 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines, Lieutenant May, Colonel May was with LAR, and he was attached to us. And he asked me what I was reading, and we were in the field. And I was like, what is this guy? This guy is crazy. We're in the field. And he wasn't playing at all. And he gave me Gates of Fire by Stephen Pressfield off the Marine Corps Commandant's reading list.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, whoa. And from that moment, I realized that reading can connect you to the professional that you want to become. So I shared that lesson learned about Colonel May, like that. Me reading and developing over all those years really took me far, and as a sergeant major, and now as a consultant. Without those years of reading, I would still be the Ernest Twigg from the streets.
I think you're on to something there, man. Like the most impactful, or I shouldn't say impactful, the wisest people that I ever rubbed elbows with, my whole life. Even when I was a kid, even the elder dudes, running around the town, they're all big readers, man. They're always the wisest people, just had nuggets of information. They could talk to you a little bit about history. They could talk to you about anything, and just you really appreciate that. So I agree with you, man. Like, that's something. I don't do resolutions, brother, but that was something that I said I was going to do better this year, was do more thorough reading and dedicate more time to it. So I appreciate you dropping that nugget.
Yeah, absolutely. Some other things that I talk to the young about, they really, really love violence and intensity. They love, whenever I'm talking about sniper school and about some of the more challenging, what was the mindset that got me through sniper school and so forth and so on. So yeah, I'm really fortunate because I look at tomorrow's youth and I don't care. Everyone's like, they're not kids. Okay, they're not kids, but they're young adults, 20-year-olds. And now 20-year-olds look like they're 13, but they are not. They are the future war fighters and future leaders of our nation. And it's an honor. It's a moment that I have to get right because they are our future and they're going to be the ones to keep America's sons and daughters, us, the enlisted, alive. I've been talking a lot to midshipmen, cadets, and I did talk to Lance Corporals at SOI, but
Yep.
right now my tour is going around talking to midshipmen. So that's kind of like where I'm focused.
Yeah, it's amazing. Come over to Annapolis. Make sure you give me a holler, man. I'll do my best to come over there and meet you. That'd be great.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Take me up
man.
on it.
Yeah, please do. Please do. So you got some more future speaking engagements going on and stuff. What are you doing for employment, and how are you applying, your mindset, to being the best value added, to that endeavor?
Yeah. So I'm a consultant. I'm a learning and development consultant. I've So let me backtrack. So at CEO World, I've written a few articles, and I use that kind of as my subject matter expertise. And it's funneled some individuals in, and they've asked me to help them design training systems. What I've done is I've taken that senior enlisted advisor mentality, the command climate survey, where an audit's conducted and then you go through the trends, you identify the corrective actions that are necessary and so forth. I've basically ripped that off from the Marine Corps. I'm just being honest. It's nothing complex, deep, or
Yeah.
it's complete legitimate plagiarism. Thank you, Marine Corps. I love you. I've taken Marine Corps systems from ADDIE, Systems Approach to Training, all those TCOM classes that we've gone to, and now I create POIs for or training programs for corporate America, and the results have been phenomenal. I have been able to produce some real ROI for companies. The company I'm working with right now, we're getting ready to go live. We're getting ready to kick the initiative, and I am 100% certain there'll be $1 million worth of return on investment once we get their new hires onboarded and feeling like they've been trained appropriately. Because something that I noticed with corporate America is there's a lot of lip service in terms of, oh, we're happy to have you. Here's our core values that we espouse. Come and work here as a project manager, get behind the computer and begin. So there's no onboarding. There's no, hey, my name is Ernest. Welcome to the team. I'm going to mentor you. I'm going to sponsor you. I'm going to show you around. I'm going to give you that safety walk. And so from point A all the way through the operations, the technical and tactical skills that are required, I conduct needs assessments and I frame it so that way those companies can build a training program that's absolutely effective and tied to their strategic goals.
Perfect. Something that a lot of people out there are capable of doing. Just Ernest is a guy, who kind of uncorked it and just looked at it a little bit differently. But that's a perfect message to the viewers, that you have a hell of a lot more skills than you think you do. And this comes from a retired infantryman on the other side of you, and me, and a retired Amtracker. A lot of times there's that thought out there like, oh, you guys, you sell yourself short, man. They're like, oh, I was a machine gunner. I don't know anything. Like, dude, you know so much. Not just within your MOS, but just those traits and those characteristics and all those things that you talked about, man. Just, you have so much to bring to the table. The world is friggin' yours out there for the taking. Capitalism, as much of a son of a bitch as it is sometimes, the best thing going in the world right now.
Absolutely.
So go out there and go friggin' get after it and crack at it. Over to you, man, to close us out.
Yeah, no. The thing that I'm going to leave everybody with is that when you become a Marine, soldier, whatever branch of the service that you join, the government is going to invest millions of dollars into your leadership. Think about all the PMEs. Think about all the leadership schools Mark R. Chabot has attended during your time. That doesn't dissolve. That doesn't go away. As you transition, be confident. Rely on yourself. Know who you are. Something that you were touching upon, Mark, is that, trackers and grunts, oh, they're not the brightest people in the world, but that's not true. Some of the most intelligent and brightest individuals I've ever had a chance to listen to speak come from, a combat arms. So don't sell yourself short. However, on the other end, I call it the margin of growth. Don't overshoot yourself either. Don't go out thinking that you're entitled to anything. That's a mind trap that individuals can fall into. They say, okay, well, I've been to 300 different leadership courses and blah 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 blah, so I expect to be the CEO. I expect better pay, and they start making demands, and those demands will get you into trouble real quick because nobody cares. You do, you should, but when it comes to the outside corporate world, just be confident in yourself and give them results. Focus on giving them results. You'll be okay.
Yeah, no doubt. It's okay. It's okay to start at the bottom. I think there's this illusion out there that you talk to certain people and they sell you, that you should be at a certain place, a certain position, a certain amount of money, and all this stuff. And that's not the same for everybody, depending on what it is that you're trying to do. So my thing is like, always go for the best fit. Fit is more important than any of those other factors. If it feels right and somebody gives you the opportunity, go in there and establish a reputation. Your reputation is more important than anything that is on your resume after somebody gives you the opportunity. Am I lying?
No, you're spot on. Money, and that's advice for me. That's advice for everybody. Absolutely, reputation carries you. And another thing that reputation does is it knocks on doors silently for you. Where
That's
one
it.
opportunity may be closing, your reputation is going to carry you. Oh, I know Mark. Mark Chabot's on the market. Okay, watch this. I don't have a job open, but I know somebody who does. Mark is going, and then they start vouching for you and so forth and so on. Those third world effects, just because your reputation was solid.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, you're onto it, man. I couldn't have said it any better myself. That man, a good reputation is going to open up so many other things for you to do, and then you just get to decide, what's the best fit for you. And more important than any amount of money is, do you enjoy what you're doing? Are you passionate about what you're doing? Do you like what you're doing? Do you care about the mission of what they're doing? And especially up here in the Washington D.C. area, Ernest, it's everybody around here is trying to chase the next $5,000 to $10,000, and I try to subtly, just be that guy, just kind of drop a couple nuggets, here and there, hey, think about this, think about that, you're a grown up, you're gonna make a decision, but you might want to consider this as well, because a couple extra, Starbucks per month isn't worth your fucking mental health.
That's a great point. And something too, I think we fall into a mind trap of competing against others.
Boom.
Just because we see someone on LinkedIn and they look like they're balling, we don't know their state of happiness. We don't
Yeah.
know what they have sacrificed to get where and we don't know that, they're doing meaningful work. You can make all the money in the world, but if you don't believe in you're not, like you said, right fit, that is huge. If I'm making a lot of money and I'm not the right fit, odds are I'm not going to last there very long. I'm going to find something that's more conducive to my personality, even if it makes less money. Because at this point, I think happiness and trumps, especially with family. My happiness with my family trumps any type of dollar amount that I can make. And what's really set me free is the fact that I'm head down, moving forward. I don't care what's going on to the left and to the right. You know, I'm not competing against anyone. I'm trying to pull everyone up. Let's go. If you want to come with me, I got you. Let's go.
No, solid. What a great way to to end the segment. Bro, this reunion has been just good for my soul and good for my heart. It's so good to see you. Outside of just, your beautiful face on LinkedIn. It's so good to see you. It put words behind it besides a cellular phone and, and it put emotion and, action into this. And I appreciate you sharing the night, man. I really do.
Yeah, same to you, brother. Thank you for having me. That was one of the quickest 30 minutes I've ever had in my life, brother. Thank you
We're
so much.
actually 35 minutes. We had some extra hits. We had to make sure we hit some stuff. We didn't even hit everything, but I got to get you out in Liberty like the good old Sergeant Major the first sergeant shit. That's what we do. Got to get you back to
That's
Natalia.
right, brother. I
I,
appreciate everything you're doing, man. Hey, follow Mark.
yep.
Left, right, left is amazing. I've learned so much from it, and I continue to learn from it, brother. I look forward to seeing everything else that you're getting ready to bring, brother.
No, thank you very much for your endorsement. And I'm just going to ask you just to hold online so I can upload your track to everybody out there who continues to support me and support the channel. I appreciate you. I love you. And I hope that you're trying, to give your best every day and be a little bit better than you were yesterday. If you do that, you'll be all right. Everybody have a great night now and take care.